Of my 5 layers that I've messed with, this was the one that came from a pencil sketch. It is still line art, but it's not the solid black of some of my other layers, right? So I'm going to show you some things. If you weren't able to get clean black line art from your sources, there are ways you can make it cleaner and blacker. So one way is this. I'm actually going to delete all my other layers, even my background one, so you can see the white pixels and just those pencil lines. First thing, I want to isolate it so I only see those dark gray pixels. So I'm going to use a new tool, which is the magic wand. It's right underneath the lasso. And we don't want the object selection tool. We don't want the quick selection tool. We want to have a lot of control. Everything in this intro course is about being able to control the program and know why it's doing what it's doing. That's why we don't use clipping masks or any adjustment layers. We always use direct adjustments and direct tools. So with the magic wand, you'll find it at the bottom of that drawer. And then W is the shortcut to get to it. And you can use it with a mouse or with your tablet and stylus. But you want to look at the options at the top. First of all, we want just the default options. So this one here, not additive. That means it will make one selection at a time. And if you want to add to it, you have to hold down Shift. If you want to subtract to it, you have to hold down Option. And we want it to be based on a point sample. That means that we're going to select a pixel by clicking on it. And then the tolerance, the default tolerance for Photoshop is 32. It's like a third. That means pixels that are within a third similar will get also selected. And then you want contiguous unchecked. That means that the pixels that you select don't need to be touching in order for them to be selected. And what I'm going to do is select the white pixels. But I need to be on the right layer for it to select it. So this is the layer that's visible. That's now the layer I have selected. So now I click on the white pixels with the magic wand, and it will select all of them. And then I can hit delete because it's rasterized. So that leaves me with only the lines. But these lines aren't black. They're kind of grayish, right? Because it's pencil. So now how can I make those black? The way I'm going to teach you for this project is pretty straightforward. It's using what's called layer styles. These are properties we add to the layers. And to do that, you double click on the layer itself, not on the title of the layer, but on the bar of the layer. When you double click on it, it opens up your layer styles. And the one we're going to use is color fill. Not color fill, sorry, color overlay. So what color overlay does, select it, and then you can see the options, is it will fill all the pixels that are in that layer with one pixel color. And in this case, we're going to use solid black pixels, the bottom left-hand lower corner of the color selector at 100% normal mode. So now those gray pixels that were from the pencil become kind of dry, messy black pixels. And what's great about layer styles is they can always be turned on and off. And it can show me where I even have some little debris pixels that I might want to edit out. Though we're not going for perfection here. But if I wanted it to be clean line art, then I would just clean up those pencil lines like that. But I don't mind the sketchy line art. So now I have black and black, right? But I see the white pixels still. But that's okay because it's set on multiply mode. So if I turn them all on, now I can see how all those lines are working. And having that layer style really strengthens that line art in a way that I like. The next thing, you might notice little things you want to edit now that you have all your 5 layers. And I can use the eyeball to see what layer it needs to be cut out of to reveal it, right? Like maybe everything in this shape. I just want to have cut down a little bit. So I see what layers I could cut from. Maybe I want to keep that little ribbon. And then I liked having the ribbon kind of showing over the top. So I'm going to cut away from this, these little decisions. But this can always be edited and completed. I'm going to add to my selection by using the Shift key. And all of you are finding your own way and experimenting with it. Okay, good. If I don't like that dry line right there, I can just delete it. Oh, it's not from that layer. What layer is that from? It is. It's from this layer. Good. Okay. So now I've got my jumble. How do I submit it? So this is the bare requirements. 5 different layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On a white background that's at least 8 by 10 inches by at least 300 pixels per inch. I'm at 8 by 10 by 350, so I turn all my layers on. I see everything the way I want to see it. And then I say File, Save As. So we're going to get used to saving our Photoshop files by always going to File, Save As. And we always save them with our name and then a description. So if you didn't set your name when you started the new file, please type it in here. Otherwise, you'll lose all of your work. So your name and then a description. And then where do we save it to? Always to the desktop while we're working. So no matter what it says there, you can hit Command D and it will navigate to the desktop. And then we check its format. We want it to be a Photoshop format because we're saving it to these computers. For good measure, this is optional, but you can also use Save As to save it to your cloud documents, and then it will save it to your Adobe account. Just say Save. Right? But you also always need to have your PSDs saved onto the computer. And I mark those green for working format. So there's my finished PSD file. The problem is I can't put a PSD file to Canvas. That's a working format. It takes up way too much memory. If I look at the size of that, it's 37 megabytes. That takes up a whole lot of your Canvas memory. So how do we get it so it's an online file format? We go back to that PSD. And this is a PSD-C. You see how it's a cloud document? I don't want that one. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to go back to my desktop and open this one up. So students ask if they can save to their cloud documents in Adobe. You can, but you'll only be able to access them when you're logged into Photoshop. So it's better just to save them to your computer so you can save that file on your thumb drive or on your SD card and work on it from anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to go to File, Save As again. And this time I need to save it as an online format. And the online format we use for this project is JPEG. So it's Karl Popeye Jumble Exercise 1 to the desktop. That's all correct, but the format isn't a Photoshop format. I want it to be a JPEG. But JPEG isn't an option here. And that's because in order to make it a JPEG, we need to lose our layers. So we do that by saying instead, save a copy, which is right next to the format. And if we save a copy, we can keep the same name, but it will add copy to the end of it. It will go to the same place, but we're going to change the format now to JPEG. And when we hit save, it will give us this window where we can decide on the size. This is why JPEGs are the most popular online image. It's because you can customize its memory usage. It's like rounding a number. And I would recommend keeping it always between 10 and 12. If I keep it at 10, it's not even 1 megabyte large. So the PSD file is 32 something megabytes. This is less than 1 megabyte. But it's still the same pixels. It's just now, when it's a JPEG on the desktop, I mark it orange for online format. And this is flattened and can go up to canvas. This doesn't support the layers. So now I open up Canvas. This is how we submit something. Remember, you can turn in exercises late, but we never want to turn something in late, right? So we go to the assignment. This is exercise 2. We can shortcut to it by going to assignments off of the home page and then clicking, not on exercise 2, on exercise 1, where we can post it. We scroll through the directions. At the end of the instructions, it gives directions for how to post it. So it's always number 1 to get credit for the work. Ignore number 2 until the end of the semester, though this is a way you can look at past student examples beyond what we've already seen of these jumbles on different themes. And you can see how some of these are colored. I'll show you how we can do that next as an option. But let's get it posted. So what do? We hit reply. We start a post with our name because we don't all go by our Canvas name. And even if we do, we're going to get used to this. And then hit return. And we can upload the image using this and the directions, or on a Mac, I just drag and drop it in. Make sure it's the JPEG, my orange file. This is print resolution, and we're moving it to a screen. So we're going to have to shrink it a little bit so it's not just enormous. So I want you, for these assignments, to shrink it to about half the size of the screen when you're viewing the browser at 100%, right? So your browser is at 100%. That means your name's about that size at 12 point. That means your image is going to be half the length of the posting window. And that should show off each image pretty clearly. So it's like a gallery like that when we showcase them. And then you hit reply or post, and then you have turned it in. So now I'm going to add a bonus finishing extra. And we're working for the next 20 minutes or so to get these submitted. Yeah. Let's say 15 minutes. Let's try to get them in by 2:40. All right, so now to finish this off, I've done the black one. I've saved it as a black flattened image. I've saved it as a PSD. How can I add color? Well, first I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And to do that, right now it's made up of multiple layers. 6 different layers are making this image. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to select the topmost layer. And then I'm going to go to Layer Options at the top, scroll down to Merge Visible. This is a really nice professional trick of Photoshop, where if you hold down Option while you click Layer Merge Visible, it will give you a non-destructive combined layer, which means on one layer it will combine everything and it won't delete all the layers you have underneath. If you just click Layer Merge Visible, it will delete all these layers. Right? So now this is one clean version. What's nice about that is on this one clean version, I can hit Command T and I can instantly do things like rotate it, scale it, right click and warp it. Now it's all in one place. So if I think it's a little too square or something, and I wanted it to be a little bit more cloud-like, I can do that. If I want to just move the whole thing, I can just use the Move tool and arrange it in the rectangle of the canvas a little bit differently. Maybe I want to give myself a little bit more canvas space than 8 by 10. So I would go to image size, or not image, image canvas size, and change it from 8 by 10 to 9 by 12. And say OK, and it will grow from the center. Okay. And then I can turn on that white background. So that's one advantage of combining everything. The other advantage is, turn off that background so you can see, now with that magic wand tool that we use to delete the whites, I can select all of the white and delete it. And Photoshop shows you that there are no pixels there if it's a checkerboard, that gray checkerboard. So now I just have clean black pixels. But are they all clean? These ones look really clean. These ones look like they have a lot of gray in them. So now that it's all in one layer as well, I can double click it and click on Color Overlay to fill it all with 100% black, like I did for my pencil sketch. And now they're all really clean and black pixels. So that's nice.